going to point out a few things here. Again, please just try and notice the subtle landform here, because it's quite apparent how the arable field is on the sort of slightly raised ground there, and then there is a gentle slope, and then it's a little bit the same the other side. So this meadow here, it just gets too wet to be ploughed up. Obviously that housing area is called Netherhouse Moor, and this is Netherhouse Copse. So the moor aspect to that name suggests that historically this would have been, you know, very wet, it would have been grazed, and of course woodland is another characteristic of wet land, because if you can't plough land, then you've got all the woodland resources. So villages historically would have had a whole range of landscapes around them to supply the resources they need, and clearly hazel coppice and oak was a key requirement. This copse is fantastic for primrose. It is a sink, so it's a site of interest to nature conservation. It's a very typical English woodland that's received no management for many, many years, so it's lost a lot of its value, because these are coppice woodlands. There's hazel in here, and that cycle of coppicing and opening up the lights creates incredibly rich ecosystems. Luckily, it's a site of importance to nature conservation. You've got exceptional quantities of primroses, but here you've got a plant called Goldilocks, and it's related to it's in the buttercup family, okay. And it's all here. It's got very nice leaves. It's very subtle. You also got a fantastic bank of bluebells that should be out any day, and these habitats, because it's the ground floor that's so valuable, they're incredibly vulnerable to suddenly 450 new homes being developed there, because it'll be trash. If it becomes a major play area and thoroughfare and dog walking area, it would just be, it's not sustainable. So again, we must keep thinking what's sustainable development, you know.
How long will this last with 450
I'll give you
houses there?
I'll give you this flora. It can't cope with anything really. Just through the trees there's an area where locals have been creating a BMX track, and it just gives a very, very good illustration. It's worth getting a photograph of actually, because there's a lot of beer drinking going on as well, and it just gives a really good example of the impact of population on woodland. So, the relatively good news is in the recent NPPF, the government revised policy on planning, ancient woodlands seem to get a special mention. So actually that's a pretty good thing for Crookham Village, because all our woodlands virtually are ancient woodlands. So we have to investigate that very carefully and make sure we make best use of that in our case.